These are the top 5 ways that human beings have learned how to lucid dream. After 1,000 years of doing anything, you'd think we get pretty good at doing that thing, right? But first, what is a lucid dream? I find a lot of misconceptions about this, and you probably have misconceptions about it too. Things like astral projection, astral traveling, people entering into our dreams, alternate states of dimension. Well, that's all not true. What science has told us and what the research has defined as lucid dreaming is simply any time that you're aware you're in a dream, that's a lucid dream. Some people have control over their dreams and some people do not. But if you are aware that you are in a dream state, whether you have control or not, that counts as a lucid dream. Now we'll get to this later, why it's important, because lucid dreams can actually be dangerous. And I'm gonna warn you and tell you how to stay safe when you enter one. This all started in the 9th century, where Tibetan dream yoga was something that was practiced in order to find self-enlightenment. But over the last 1,200 years, we've discovered 5 really popular ways to enter into a lucid dream. Our modern understanding of lucid dreams didn't happen until the 80s with Dr. Stephen LaBerge, who was kind of an outsider to the scientific community. I mean, he was definitely a scientist, but people thought he was crazy when he decided that he was going to study lucid dreaming. They thought that was nonsense. But he took it very seriously and found that lucid dreaming and studies of lucid dreaming were a way to understand human consciousness to depths that we've never gotten to before. Now, each of these lucid dreaming techniques has a really stupid name, and they all sound similar. Wild, mild, WBTB, dialed, and siled. I'm looking to make sure I don't get them wrong because they all sound the same. I guess lucid dreamers aren't known for being incredibly novel when coming up with titles. Now, the most common one you'll hear online is called the mild technique, mnemonic induction of lucid dreams, MILD. Before you get lost in the sauce about lost in the sauce, who says that? Before somebody comes along and tries to confuse you, making you think it's more complicated than it is, it's just meditation. The mild technique uses a very simple premise. As you go to sleep, you repeat to yourself some kind of phrase that will trigger a lucid dream. And this is something just to get your mind into the right framework while you're going to sleep. Something like, the next time I'm asleep, I will remember that I'm dreaming. By doing this, you're going into the dream with expectations that you're going to be aware of the dream as it happens. This is incredibly important for setting your mind up for the right framework to become lucid. Now, the second I think is the most dangerous. It's called the wake back to bed method, WBTB. And this involves waking yourself up and disrupting your sleep cycles in the middle of them, so that way you enter into this lucid state rather than falling deeply asleep. All you have to do is set an alarm for 4 to 5 hours after you first fall asleep. That way you wake up in some of the deepest part of your sleep. By disrupting your sleep in this way, waiting around 30 to 60 minutes and like reading a book or, getting a snack or something like that, and then going back to sleep, you don't go back as deep asleep as you originally did. This allows you to not be awake and not be deep asleep, but be in this lucid sort of liminal space, aware of your dream while it's happening. But the problem is you're gonna wake up tired. You're literally disrupting your sleep so you can enter into a lucid dream. Coincidentally, new parents may have more lucid dreams than those who aren't new parents because that baby is waking them up all throughout their sleep cycles and causing them to become aware of the dreams. Now, the third is the wild technique. This is actually the simplest, but also the most difficult because it involves going directly into a dream from a waking state. Wake-induced lucid dreaming, wild, is one of the more expert level types of lucid dreaming inductions. If you've ever experienced sleep paralysis, you're probably pretty familiar with this type of method. Sleep paralysis happens when your body is frozen and you start to see dream images while your eyes are open, causing you to see weird shadow figures and sometimes pretty horrifying stuff, because let's face it, you're not used to seeing hallucinations while your eyes are open. If you do, see a doctor. Now, I find that this is kind of like genetic. Some people have the ability to do this, some people do not have the ability to do this. So if this one isn't for you, skip it. If you're one of those few who can do it, if you get over that initial shock of seeing scary things, you can enter right into that lucid dream and start to take control. The fourth is my personal favorite. It's called dialed, dream-induced lucid dreaming. And this is, I think, the one that's the easiest to really jump into. Anytime that you become aware that something's fishy going on in a dream and you realize, wait a minute, this isn't waking life, this is dream life, you can enter into that lucid state. For example, let's say that you're flying through the air on your way to rescue the hobbits from Isengard. Well, that's probably not what you do for your regular day job, so you might become aware that, wait a minute, the logic is breaking down here. This is a dream. When this happens, you can actually start to take control of the dream and start to make decisions about what you want to do next and what you want to see, and then start controlling, because it's literally your mind inventing what you're experiencing, so might as well take control. I've heard some other people talk about they'll go and look at a mirror, they'll go look at a clock or something like that, because those will look strange in dreams and those will initiate the lucid dream. I even met somebody who said that they go into the bathroom, and if the bathroom goes on infinitely like a maze, that's their cue. They I know that the infinite bathroom is always a dream, so that's when I become lucid. Now, the most recent lucid dreaming technique is called the SILD technique, sense-induced lucid dreaming. But they added 2 S's in the beginning, so if you're gonna Google it, it's SSILD, who the fuck knows why. Now, the SILD technique is a hybrid method, and it's pretty fancy and it's pretty complicated, but basically the premise is, if you can pay attention to your senses as you fall asleep, you'll actually be more likely to enter into a lucid dream. So it goes through this cycle as you fall asleep of paying attention to your hearing, your sight, and then your feel. By doing this, you're kind of mixing waking life with dream life, and you become more aware and more alert during the dream when it starts to take place. On top of this, they have you wake up after 4 to 5 hours and then repeat the cycle again as you fall asleep for the second time. So it does involve sleep disruption as well as sense perceptions, and this is really kind of like a hybrid method that combines both of the previous ones. I wanted to switch over to my computer to show you some of these insane lucid dreaming gadgets that they have. I feel like lucid dreaming gadgets really fall into kind of 3 categories: lights, sounds, and vibrations, and you're gonna see that here pretty quickly. The idea behind all of these gadgets is that while you're in a dream, these things will go off and kind of interact with your waking body in some sort of way, not totally taking you out of sleep, but getting you enough out of the deep sleep so that you start to become aware of the dream while it's taking place. Here's like a light that you can plug in that will go off at certain times, to help you realize that you're dreaming. You've got some sleep gadgets that help you with audio here. Another one, here's a sleep tracker that can track when you're in the right stages to initiate a lucid dream. But I find like the most common ones are these dream masks, because you'll see this here. What they do is there's some lights inside the mask. You put it on while you sleep, and then no matter where you toss and turn, those lights will very gently shine into your eyes, and you'll see them through your eyelids, letting you realize that you're dreaming while it's taking place. Here's like a really fancy one that actually has some, like trackers that stick to the side of your head. And what does it actually do? There's a well-documented method of enhancing gamma activity in the brain called transcranial alternating current stimulation, or TACS. This method implements mild electrical stimulation to the head in a way proven to be 100% safe. It's important to note that TACS is not electroshock therapy. Before you go trying any of these lucid dreaming techniques, you should be aware that there are some dangers that come with this field. The first is obviously sleep problems. You're going into disruptions of your sleep. You're messing with your patterns, you're changing your circadian rhythm, all for the attempt of lucid dreaming, which if you're getting enough sleep is fine. But if you're on a tight schedule and you gotta get up early for work, this may not be a technique that you should start enjoying. Derealization is also a very real problem because you start to mix waking life and dreaming life, trying to take control over both and mixing the realities between the two. Some people have reported becoming confused of whether they're awake or asleep, or whether they remember something from a dream, or if they remember that thing from their waking life. If you're someone who's prone to not being really connected to your waking life, or having bouts of derealization or depersonalization, lucid dreaming may just not be for you, because it's likely that it will increase those symptoms for you. But the number one danger that I hear all the time is people don't realize you can become trapped inside of a lucid dream. Now, of course, everyone wakes up, but there's a very real sense that you get into this lucid dream, you start to take control, and then you don't know how to get out. And if you do a quick Google search, you will see countless reports of people being horrified and experiencing a nightmare, but on this elevated level, because now it's a nightmare in which they know it's a dream and they have control, but they can't stop it or get out. There's this real sense of loss of time in a dream. Time is funny, and it can feel like you've been inside of a dream for weeks or years when it's only been one single night. And if you have any mental health struggles like bipolar, depression, or borderline personality disorder, lucid dreaming can actually intensify some of those symptoms because you're messing with your sleep and you're messing with your perception of waking life and dreaming. If you want to learn more about how to keep safe from these dangers, like and subscribe, because I'm posting a second video on what I think are the 3 key ingredients to lucid dreaming, and these will help keep you safe. So tell me, are you able to lucid dream? Have you ever experienced one in your life? Put it in the comments down below. I'd love to respond and hear your story. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.